That cannot be right. No, it cannot. I've tried changing the ini settings and nothing is fixing that. Oh well, I'll try and find a solution for it. I don't want to have to remove blended roads. I like blended roads, I just don't like this. It's a little glowing. Anyway, hi guys! As you can see, I'm running around Skyrim still, but this time I'm testing out a cleaned up load order. This is actually the Chapter 3 load order with DynDOLOD ripped out and everything, almost everything, updated. That's the first stage. I took out DynDOLOD, I updated the game itself to the latest version, then I updated SKSE. I managed to then update the SKSE mods except one, which was Sprint Jump. And that just didn't actually have a page anymore. But there was a new mod called Better Jumping, and I'm using that, and that seems to work just fine. Once I did that, I just went through my entire load order one at a time, looking at the mods, deciding if I could and should update, and indeed I did for pretty much every mod that had an update, with the exception of two, Legacy of the Dragonborn and Skyrim Unique Treasures. If you want to see a complete list of the mods I'm currently running right now, I'll put them down below with the versions. I'm going to start putting the versions on them as well. I will be including DynDOLOD because I've technically got it installed in my load order. I just don't have it enabled. I've got it switched off currently. The two mods that I did not update were, well, essentially, I couldn't update Legacy because you cannot, or you're not supposed to update mid-playthrough between major versions. So you can't jump from version 3 to 4, and once version 5 comes out, you are not supposed to jump from either 3 or 4 to 5. And Skyrim Unique Treasures actually relies, well, doesn't rely, it has patches for Legacy to place some of the items in the museum, and of course, if I don't update Legacy, I cannot update that one, otherwise those items will not appear, because instead of an ESP, the later versions use an ESM. Now that is a bit of a shame, because obviously Legacy version 5 is looking good, and more importantly, I believe the new mod by the same mod author, Odyssey of the Dragonborn, which looks like it's going to be bloody phenomenal, seems to rely on you having Legacy of the Dragonborn version 5 installed. As far as I can see, we're going to need version 5. And that's probably going to mean for most people you need a new playthrough. Now, I'm almost certainly going to be playing Leonard for years, so a new playthrough is not actually in the cards, and yet I want to play that mod. So at some point I am going to update. I'm going to do something I'm going to tell everyone else you should not do, but it's probably going to take me the better part of a week. I have a plan for how to do it. There is a way to do it, I think. It will involve a lot of messing about, console commands, probably redoing a lot of the quests, although using console commands to speed it along, and just tons and tons of checking, perhaps using things like script cleaners, although you have to be careful using those things on Skyrim Special Edition. I have found if you get a bit aggressive with the save cleaners, you can crash your game. So it's going to involve an awful lot of testing and backups, and me trying to get it to the latest version. I do intend to do it. I think my plan is to make that update between Chapter 5 and 6, which should give you some idea of how far ahead I'm planning here. I think between Chapter 5 and 6 is going to be a good moment to do it, and I'm hoping by then... Well, actually, I might not be finished with the Dragonborn, with the Legacy quests. The problem is the Legacy quests do seem to be locked behind you being the Dragonborn at some point, the main quest. So, you know, until that happens, those quests may not finish. But I think I can still make the update even in its current stage, the quest stage. And that is something I'm probably going to do. And I've completely gone off topic here, haven't I? That's for a totally different mod ramble sometime in a few chapters' time. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so updated load order. This is my updated load order, and I'm running around checking things, and that does look nice. Yeah, water was one of the mods I did update, and that... Has it always looked that nice, or is it just me, been away for a while and I've forgotten what it looked like? That looks nice. That does look nice. So yeah, this is what I would call my updated Chapter 3 load order. Once I've run around for an hour or so checking things, I want to check the guards. One of the mods I updated was Guard Dialogue Overhaul, I think it was. And it actually, the version I've got now was on a new Nexus page uploaded by the original mod author and is slightly different to the one I was using, which was a port. I think it was Guard Dialogue Overhaul. Or was it Follower Over... Relationship Overhaul? One of the mods. Anyway, I should remember these things. I should write them down. You know, with my advancing years and my memory going, I've always been bad at remembering little things like that on occasion. It's weird. I can remember details from years ago about the strangest things, and then sometimes I can forget what day it is. But I've always been kind of like that, to be honest. There we go. Flickering in Windhelm. Oh, some other things. When I say I've cleaned the load order up, there were 1 or 2 compatibility patches for mods I didn't even have installed anymore, like advanced follower tweaks. I actually had a patch for that, and I believe it was I think that one was actually the follower relationship overhaul mod. Whatever. There was a compatibility patch. I removed it. So when I loaded this save, there were a couple of warnings about ESPs. There was also another warning from wearable lanterns. Since updating SKSE, one of the issues I got was wearable lanterns threw an error regarding some of the files, saying they were read-only, which was actually true. But I found out this warning was a bit unnecessary, so I could disable it. Now, there was a patch that fixed it, and I tried that, but it actually stopped wearable lanterns from working, which is a shame because it also fixed some of the dialogue problems, not dialogue problems, text problems on MCM, which is not really critical for the Let's Play, but it was nice. But it just didn't work. I couldn't actually switch the lantern on and off, which was mildly annoying. So I removed it and actually fixed it myself. I just went in and tweaked the ESP to not have that warning message come up. It's not a major thing. It really was a very minor thing. So that's what I've been doing, basically, and what I have achieved. A clean setup. Once I have confirmed that everything here is fine and I've got no major issues, I'm going to start installing a few mods that I do fancy for the college. Now, there is the Immersive College of Winterhold mod. That does look interesting and looks like there are some fairly major changes. But there's also one called, I think it's called Obscures. And I really do like the look of that. It looks a little less in your face with the changes, but it had some nice little additions, like your room. I read on it that your room has a plaque or something for your name, but as your rank changes in the main quest, or as you progress through the main quest, apparently your title goes up. Little tweaks like that. I read through some of the features and it did look interesting, so I'm going to have a deeper look at those two mods and decide which of them suits me better. Although, as I've said, at the moment, for some reason, Obscures just, it's sort of grabbing me. And I've also seen a few other mods that deal with some of the cut content. Obviously, I'm using Cutting Room Floor, so there is some quest restored in the college. But there are also a couple of mods that, I don't know, tidy that quest up and enhance it. And so I'm thinking about installing those, you know, something extra in the college. And there is also a mod called, was it Immersive College NPCs? See, this is the problem with not having all the browser tabs open. I should have actually had the browser tabs open on my other machine, but I've got them all open because obviously I'm installing them on this machine. Because I'm going by memory now. But it adds more, you know, students and wizards to the college to make it look a little busier, which is probably a good thing, right? So I'm going to be testing things like that just because, I mean, obviously, most of you figured out Chapter 4 is at least going to start in the college. I don't want to tell you too much more than that because I don't want to give things away, but I did leave Chapter 3 with a fairly obvious tie-in. Riften. Yeah, let's go this way. So, yeah, these cobbles look better here. They don't look as translucent. Mind you, it's lighter. I think nighttime has an effect on it. Mildly irritating. What was I saying? Oh, yes, right. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. But I probably won't need to test that too much. And I sort of don't want to test it too much because obviously I kind of want to discover it for reals. I mean, there's a side of me thinking, you know what? As long as it's stable, just go in completely blind because it'll all be new. And of course for Leonard it is new, so this sort of helps a little bit. So, you know, those I might just put in. You don't usually have to do too much test. Well, you don't test mods like that too much when you start playing them, do you? Because you don't want to spoil them for yourself, having problems with English language all of a sudden. So yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do next. And after I've done that, I do have one or two quality of life mods I'm thinking of trying out. I may or may not show you those. Depends on whether or not I install them or not. And then I'm going to be trying the weather mods. Now, the weather mods and the EMBs you guys have been suggesting are brilliant. A lot of help, so thank you very much for that. I'm going to try things like Vivid. I'm going to try the new Cathedral weather. I am actually, this is the latest version of Obsidian, which is supposed to have less rain, so, you know, maybe this one's actually fairly good. Although, well, no, Obsidian is a great mod. I've loved Obsidian. I'm more at a point of wanting a change. It's as daft as that. I know I can enable seasons on this, but I think you have to wait quite a while.
My eyes have steamed up.
Yeah, right. I think you have to wait quite a while for those seasons to shift. So if I'd enabled it ages ago, maybe it would have made it a bit more interesting. Anyway, I'm going to check out the weather mods that you guys have been suggesting and some of the ENBs. There have been a lot of ENBs suggested that apparently don't change too much and keep the natural feel. So I will give those a go. Somebody did actually tell me that ENBs don't post-process anymore, that it's actually tweaks to the game engine. Now, I haven't checked ENBs for a long time, but that's a fairly radical change because it always was post-processed. But if it's not now, if it actually tweaks the in-game image spaces so that the game actually recognizes the darkness, that would remove one worry for me. But is that true? Is the million-dollar question, obviously. So anyway, that is what I'm going to be doing next. Well, essentially, I'm doing yet another run-round test, and I just wanted someone to babble to, and you are that someone. Not much to report other than success so far. I'm on the right track. Things are going pretty well, as you can see. I've not had any major issues. And then once the weather mods are installed, I will then redo DynDOLOD and I will definitely do a last run around so we can see what my new load order looks like in all its glory. Okay, so keep your eyes open for that if you like that sort of thing. And my apologies if you hate this sort of video but found yourself absolutely unable to not stop watching all the way up to this point. And if that is the case, might I suggest... well, I don't know. That's a pretty big problem, isn't it, really? I mean, if you get 15 minutes into a video that you hate watching and you just can't press the stop button, I'm thinking counselling, maybe? Just, you know... I'm sorry. Just, you know... I'm guessing anyone who doesn't like this sort of video didn't make it this far. So does that mean I'm allowed to mock them because they'll never know? I shouldn't mock people for not liking the sort of videos I make. I mean, there are 7 billion people on the planet, and probably 6.99999 billion of them wouldn't like my videos. Which I could turn around and say makes you guys an elite club.